The Blue Carbuncle, Part 1.
I visited my friend Sherlock Holmes on the second morning of Christmas. When I arrived, he was sitting in front of the fire, wearing his purple dressing gown. Next to the sofa was a wooden chair, and on the chair was a dirty old hat. A magnifying glass and a forceps were on the chair, so the hat was probably part of one of Holmes's investigations. "You are busy," I said. "Perhaps I interrupt you."
Not at all,
he replied, and indicated the hat.
The problem is very simple, but it is still interesting and maybe even instructive.
I sat down in an armchair and warmed my hands in front of the fire because it was very cold outside. "I imagine," I said, "that this hat is connected with a terrible crime."
No crime,
said Sherlock Holmes, laughing.
It is only one of those strange things that happens when 4 million human beings live within the small area of a city. With so many people, every imaginable combination of events is possible, and sometimes you can find a problem that is striking and strange, but not criminal. Do you know Peterson, the commissionaire?
Yes.
This trophy belongs to him.
It is his hat?
No. He found it. Its owner is unknown. Look at it carefully, and not as a dirty old hat, but as an intellectual problem. It arrived here on Christmas morning, together with a good fat goose. That goose is probably cooking at Peterson's house at this very moment. These are the facts. About 4 o'clock on Christmas morning, Peterson was returning from a party along Tottenham Court Road. In front of him, he saw a tall man carrying a white goose. Then he saw some men attack the tall man. One of the attackers knocked his hat off, so the man lifted his walking stick to defend himself. But when he lifted the stick, he broke a shop window by mistake. Peterson ran to help the man, but when the man saw Peterson with his commissionaire uniform, he thought he was a policeman, and he ran away, and so did the attackers. Peterson was there all alone, with the hat and the goose.
Of course, Peterson then returned the goose to its owner, I said.
No,
replied Holmes.
That is the problem. It is true that "For Mrs. Henry Baker" was written on a small card attached to the leg of the goose, and that the initials H.B. are written on the lining of the hat. But there are thousands of Bakers and hundreds of Henry Bakers in London.
What then did Peterson do?
He brought both the goose and the hat to me on Christmas morning, because he knows that I am interested in even the smallest problems. I kept the goose until this morning, and then I gave it to Peterson to cook for dinner.
Did the man who lost the goose put a notice in the newspaper?
No.
Then how can you discover who he is? I asked.
From his hat,
replied Holmes.